Let me screen share. We can let people keep filing in. Right. Right. People see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Welcome, everyone. This is your monthly steering committee update for March to talk about, or to just update the community, what's going on in March, the big stuff happening. Yes, so today is the 31st of March. Thanks everyone for spending your time here. I'll try to be quick. But just for those who hasn't been here before, I think I see a few new faces. We'll give a very quick overview of the steering committee. So why don't we start with who is in the committee? Yeah, so I don't know if Marvin, would you like to sort of introduce yourself and maybe the committee?
Oh, hey, sorry, I was just trying to find my unmute button. Hey guys, Marvin here. Happy to be a member of the steering committee and do my bit. Yeah, I was the developer of the Clarity Lab, so I guess that's over now. Before that, I was with the Stacks Foundation. I've done a lot of Clarity work. I've worked on many integrations. So if you've been around for a while, you might have seen me in relation to the Stacks Foundation. These days, I work on Writer, so we're trying to build a new kind of hardware wallet that's all focused on digital identity. Yeah, and that's the short of it. Contributed to a few SIPs, reviewed a few SIPs, and yeah, happy to continue doing so.
And maybe you can talk like very briefly about like what you guys do in the SIP process. Hello?
Oh, sorry, was that directed to me as well?
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah.
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah, so the steering committee makes sure that the whole SIP process goes well. So we make sure that it follows the set procedures, and we also work on ratification at the very end.
Cool. Yeah, so like Marvin said, it sort of is the steward of the whole process. Currently, we have 3 members. I mean, we're looking to have more members. So that's sort of is the sort of the final cohort of reviewers for any SIP. But there are actually other people in this process, like the SIP editors and consideration advisory boards. And these are the people who make up the current CAPs. And if you have any CAP ideas, feel free to let us know or join the group, or if you want to join any one of them. Yeah, so these people look at the review, look at the SIPs from their very own expertise and offer feedback and approval for those SIPs. And we actually have another big group of SIP editors happening right now, which is very active right now. And we meet on a bi-weekly basis. I'll talk a little bit more later, but yeah, essentially these 3 groups are the key reviewers of any SIP, whether it's consensus breaking or non-consensus breaking. Got any question, let me know. And just it's a call out for if you want to join SIP editors or any other groups. But recently I've been looking for SIP editors. So if you're interested, let me know. Yeah, so let's go into the March SIP development. Marvin, do you want, Marvin or Gina, would you like to talk a little bit about the Stack Super one being live?
Sure, I'll jump in there. Yeah, so I'm sure everybody here will know that Stacks 2.1 activated. So that's very, very exciting. There's so many updates, upgrades across the board. You know, as someone who's technical, I'm very excited about all the new Clarity features that's going to make you know, lots of new applications possible, lots of cool developments there. But of course, for the people that are very into stacking, it changes stacking up a little bit. So we have continuous stacking, stacking pools being more feasible. So yeah, lots of very exciting things. The upgrade went off without a hitch, as far as I could tell. And yeah, we're well on the way to the next upgrade.
Well, thank you, Marvin. And just to give really quick shout out to all the SIP contributors, you know, whether you're on this list or not on this list, it's because Stacks 2.1 is basically SIP 15 and SIP 20. You know, whether from a technical perspective or non-technical perspective, so many people were able to contribute. So thank you all and the whole community for really helping this upgrade to be live and to get ratified. And SIP 20, Kyle and Bryce also a key contributor to this process, to the creation of this SIP. And then it was created like efficiently. So really, really great to have so many people contributing to Stacks 2.1. And another SIP from Marvin himself being live is SIP 18 that had consensus bug because Stacks 2.1's new function being live, therefore that met the criteria this SIP set out. Marvin, do you want to give a quick summary of what this is and how it can benefit the community?
Okay, sure. Yeah. So yeah, as Hiro said, this SIP activated together with SIP 2.1 pretty much. That was because it depended on a feature that at the time didn't exist. So that's why they're activating at the same time, even though the SIP is very different. So naturally not included in the 2.1 SIP. What SIP 18 is all about signing messages that are not transactions. So these types of messages can contain some type of data, but can also just basically be messages. And the point of these is that these messages can be used off-chain as well as on-chain, with the thought that they're cheap and easy to verify by Clarity smart contracts on-chain. So that's all very theoretical, but what does this enable? It will enable for example, trading protocols that happen off-chain and then do their commitment on-chain or their settlement on-chain. It can enable you know, secure logins to web applications that have a backend in a structured way. And basically, this is sort of a platform or a base upon which different standards can build. So it's very exciting. If you are aware of Ethereum space, you will know EIP 712, which is similar to this sign type data. So yeah, very, very cool. And we've already seen some projects building with this as well. So it's a great first step, integrated by the all popular wallets these days as well. So it's ready to go. I just see in chat that someone's using it as well already. That's very cool. It's very cool. Be sure to share it everywhere, what you're working on.
Oh, wow, cool. Yeah, share with us. Do you want to unmute Vlad and share with us what you've been using it for lately?
Sure. So you'll probably know it pretty soon because seems like we have a call with the Stacks team on Tuesday, if I remember correctly. So yeah, about our project. So yeah, you'll know about it soon. Yeah.
Yeah, you had a call with Stacks Foundation, or which entity in Stacks?
It's a it's a good question, and mostly for our marketing team because I'm from the tech team. So I'm the builder of the
okay, yeah. Just to let everybody know, in case because Stacks is actually a very decentralized network. The network is called Stacks, but it's made out of so many different entities, whether it's from Hero System or Stacks Foundation, Trust Machines, Stacks Ventures, which is renamed now to Bitcoin Fund, sort of fund. Anyways,
Bitcoin Frontier Fund, yeah.
Bitcoin Frontier Fund, thank you. So all these, there's no Stacks organization per se, but it's all these different entities can come together, agree on, processes like the SIP process even is a pretty decentralized way of development or getting things to be agreed upon for the network. It's not decided by Stacks Foundation, it's not decided by Trust Machine, but rather almost like a network of decentralized working group, if you like. So yeah, just to let everybody know and clarify a little bit. Cool.
Yeah, and I guess in terms of Flat, we will
yeah, got it.
keep our eyes out for an announcement on Tuesday then. Is that how we can understand it?
Yeah, probably. And also, I think we'll probably discuss on Tuesday as well our own SAP ADS. So both of them are related to smart contract wallets, and one of them is mostly related to message signatures as well, but for smart contract wallets. As you probably know, Ethereum has like EIP 1271. Which is related to like signing messages without like having a private key, as we're talking about of a smart contract wallet. So
yeah. Interesting, cool. Yeah, we'll keep an eye out for it.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, just want to highlight some of the key developments. Because this call, we specifically want to highlight some of the things at later stage being ratified, really key conversation. So yeah, just to let everybody know that SIP 15, 20, 18 being ratified. Maybe if I could ask Marvin or Gina, what does it mean to be ratified? Versus something, in activation. Could you share a bit of knowledge on that? And
Yes.
It's ratified on the GitHub, but it's sort of live on the mainnet. What's the difference?
Yeah, I would say that ratified is essentially sort of the final step in sort of acceptance. I would say that different SIPs tend to have different like go live dates or different acceptance criteria that sort of, given all of those things are true, means that the code sort of goes live on mainnet, but it can be essentially ratified and passed through the governance process ahead of those criteria sometimes being met. Is that helpful?
Yeah.
So there might be sort of like a block at which point X SIP will activate if all of the cabs and all the other steps in the process have gone through. So things can be essentially ratified that all of the checks have passed, and maybe it's sort of waiting for the specific block to go live. I think that's an example.
Right, so maybe to be very explicit here, so different SIPs will have different activation criteria. So once you go through the process, it's been accepted, it's recommended, it'll have a phase where it's basically the activation is in progress, and what these specific criteria are, that depends on the SIP author and the editors. And then once these criteria are met, it goes into a ratified stage. So as you mentioned before with SIP 18, one of the criteria was that this specific feature is implemented. So it didn't say the activation criteria is this launch of Stacks 2.1, but it said the launch of a version or the inclusion of a particular functioning clarity that is required. So once that is met through the launch of 2.1, the SIP became ratified.
Cool. Thank you so much for the explanation. Yeah, so those two are the key highlights from March. And we actually got a discussion going on about Bitcoin MBV situation. I'll highlight some of the things a little bit later. So that's an ongoing discussion. And that could potentially become a SIP. So I just want to mention it because it's very impactful, and everybody sort of should start to have awareness about this conversation. Although it's still early in the process, I have to caveat. But yeah, and there are other SIPs in drafts. So like SIP 11, the non-custodial marketplace trade. Werner kindly put that together, and SIP editors come together and decided how we would go about review it. And Raphael has taken the first pass at that particular SIP, and that will become very useful fundamental block for the core engineers for SBTC. So we are trying to get that reviewed, the standard set out as well as possible. And there's a generalized trade one coming down the pipeline too. But yeah, apart from that, there's two other SIPs, perhaps sort of in draft phase, but it's also related to Bitcoin side too, because we have these wallet connect sort of standards, but they are not everybody are using the same standard. Hero has a standard, Xress has a standard, but also it touches the Bitcoin builders. Like if it's just ordinal only builders, this can affect the way they would connect to an app with a Bitcoin wallet. So just want to highlight these SIPs. I don't know if Marvin's got anything to say about this, these two, this SIP.
Which SIP are you referring to? The marketplace SIP?
No, the Wallet Connect API and the SaaS Connect. I don't know if you got any additional information or comments you can make about those.
No, I'm not as intimately aware of the progress on these so far, so I would defer that to someone else.
Cool. I don't see any marketplaces people on today, but yeah, if you're interested, there's a GitHub discussion about this ongoing in the SIP repo. So please check out the SIP repo issue. And SBTC Igor gave us update that SBTC Alpha and testnet and mainnet are launching pretty soon. Igor, is there anything you want to add to that? Any info?
Sorry, I'm fighting the fire. I'm trying to listen, follow through. What's the question?
SBTC Alpha, testnet, and mainnet?
Yeah, SBTC Alpha is being worked on right now. Jacinta is finishing the last touches, and I'm blocking on deployment. There's no technical risk. It's just groundwork that needs to be done, and that's all the updates that I can give as of today. But we've kicked off SBTC Mini, so we're now finishing Alpha and Mini in parallel, right?
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, looking forward to testing them out. Lots of requests for comments. Just want to highlight it in this meeting too, because some of these are really impactful. Things on L1, things about the MBV situation, how they're going to go about it. And this morning I saw Pavitra wrote about the two potential proposals on Stacks Forum. So just in case you're interested and can contribute, please go to Stacks Forum for these discussions. Yeah, I don't know if Igor is able to give a little bit explanation or any steering committee about the MBV situation.
Yeah, or
yeah,
I can
so-
jump in. Oh, yeah, go ahead, Igor.
No, I'll follow you. I'll provide context after you.
No, I already talked too much. You go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So we currently are experiencing two somewhat unrelated issues in the network. One is at the Bitcoin level, which is a Bitcoin MEV issue, and Pavi is owning this solution for this work stream. We're targeting sometime Memorial Day, roughly, for activation. This will be a 2.2. Hard fork, which is meant to put kind of a short to medium term solution to this. There is a longer term initiative that might take about a year, which is really to lift mining off of the Bitcoin chain. And so we effectively, and this is a proposal that Jude has on the Stacks forum. The other issue that we have is on the Stacks layer.
Igor, maybe sorry
yes,
to interrupt you.
sorry.
Maybe I can
Yeah.
quickly in like
Yes.
a moment explain like what MEV stands for and what it means for the people that are in here that might not be aware.
Perfect.
So MEV stands for miner extractable value, and the basic concept here is that a miner mines blocks, but they have control over which transactions they include and also in what order, right? So that can lead to all sorts of interesting things. That's a topic onto its own. But what is happening specifically with the Bitcoin MEV issue that Stacks is facing is that there's one particular miner that is excluding the bids of other miners, and as such that when this miner wins a block, they can simulate that they're effectively the only miner. So this doesn't impede security of the network because they're still different miners, but it does mean that they can get Stacks Coinbase rewards at a discount. So that's what extractable value means. So they're specifically or selective with their inclusion of Bitcoin transactions in such a way that they gain an advantage on the Stacks network. So this is a monetary advantage for them, and it leads to lower POX rewards in this case. Again, doesn't impact the security, but of course, it's not something that people like to see on the network. So that's specifically what that's about, and what Igor mentioned are some potential solutions to that are being worked on right now.
Oh, anybody else got anything they want to add? So what can a community member do? What's the best thing for people to do or pay attention or help on? Anything we can ask the people?
My recommendation is that if we ever find people that are, nervous about this, or we think it's not getting attention on any channel, Twitter, to just find the relevant, GitHub discussion that we are using to centralize this information and let them know that this has been actively, sought out for a solution, and it's being, worked on. I think that's important, kind of to make sure that it's getting the attention that is needed. I think that's important.
Cool. Yeah. So we have a lot of developers thinking about it, working on it. Plus, I think what Pavi also said here, have an external contractor reviewing proposals. So we are actively looking at these solutions very carefully, and we'll communicate any further development with you guys. So yes, so other things like SBTC, some of the requests for comments from Tycho also would like to share with everybody, and make sure you go to the forum and check these out, because this can affect how it's designed. So yeah, just want to highlight that. Anything you want to say? Okay, cool. All right. So in addition to all the technical efforts going on, I just like to highlight some of the almost like the non-technical side that's going on. From my own personal sort of work stream, I am sort of really activating the SIP editors now. Just to offer a little bit of context, in the past, we didn't have so many people in the SIP process, so many SIP reviewers. Igor, you might want to mute a little bit. Yeah, so now I'm getting together approximately 15 people into this SIP editors group. We are working publicly. We have a public working document, and that document is how we as a community and as a SIP editor community review the SIPs and document some of the conversations about the SIPs. It's more setting the criteria and thinking around how to come up with a good SIP and how we would center around discussions to help everybody to be more informed in terms of evaluation and prioritization of these SIPs. We are using the RICE score that Jenny kindly suggested. And we are sort of measuring or trying to assign sort of understand how much impact it has on the network, how much effort it takes to get the SIP done. And we have a bi-weekly Twitter space. So please join the bi-weekly Twitter space that's happening on Thursdays or Friday. So yeah, so this group is going to be pretty active in helping the community as a sort of inbound funnel for all the SIP ideas, and maybe also part of their roles also to sort of look out for SIP ideas from the community as well. So yeah, and Andre has been doing an amazing job at communicating some of the early SIP SBTC development, which is SBTC is a big SIP, by the way, just everybody know. So there's a lot of communication, weekly newsletter, early engagement stuff. So, and yeah, so that's the sort of on the other SIP efforts front. Anybody got any questions? Cool. So I just want to give a shout out to all these people who are volunteering to be part of the SIP editors group. Their names will be going on to GitHub, just like the CAPS, consideration advisory boards, very soon. So you'll be seeing them around. So thank you guys for contributing, and our discussion can be found on Stack's Discord governance channel and out on Twitter world. Yeah, so I just want to leave the floor open for anything that anybody want to raise or any ideas or feedback.
Hello. Can I be heard right
Hello?
now? Hey, I'm
Yep.
a new developer, just super interested in the Stacks ecosystem, and I've been trying to get help in the Discord, and I figured I'd just pop in and say the onboarding for the blockchain API, or at least like the documentation is a little bit all over the place, and that's not like to say that's any detriment to the team or anything like that. But aside from the Discord, what are the dedicated support channels for getting developers onboarded with the Stacks ecosystem? Or is it just, pull as much you can from the GitHub and just ask as many questions until you get help? I'm only 2 days in, so that's, I'm learning as much as I can.
Yeah, welcome to Stacks. Thank you. It is great to just hop on the call. Are you looking like blockchain, contributing to the blockchain, or are you looking to like build apps using Clarity?
I want to build dApps specifically. So I know this is just the first public event that I've been able to come to. So obviously this is more about SIPs and stuff, which I am interested in, but specifically dApp development.
I would say there's a good documents from Kenny, who have put together this documentation for all kinds of stuff. Presumably you will need to know a little bit about clarity as well and other things, right? So yeah, Kenny, if you I'll try to find
Just got a
I'll give you
link to
the
his
link
Twitter.
for that. Oh, cool. Yeah. If you
Thank you,
follow
Chief.
Kenny, like he's developer advocate at Stacks Foundation.
Great.
We also have developer advocates in Hero Systems and so on. There are different, each entity, they can decide if they want to have a developer advocate, but he's a great fellow. Oh, somebody, Ross, said they should join the hackathon. Let me just find the document for,
Join the hackathon. Yeah, specifically, I'm looking to do develop either multiple applications related to the to SIP 10, so like just regular tokens, not NFTs.
okay.
I'm just trying to get the blockchain API up and running, and I've been running it for like a day and a half. I didn't realize that I can pull a nightly build. Yeah, so this is I'm on like block 40,000 or something like that. And I'm just catching up with somebody wrote in the Discord that I can actually pull down an archive and start from there, which seems much smarter than what I've been doing before. But
Okay.
I guess Kenny is probably the point of contact that'd be super useful.
Yeah, definitely. He's
And even just like
definitely the point
going
of
through his
contact.
Twitter and seeing what he's building. Okay.
Yeah.
In the chat, his email as well.
Amazing.
Let me drop a link. I believe it's this. That's got like a lot of docs that Kenny put together over the past few months. It's got like everything from the blockchain, from clarity, from the nodes, even SIP is on there too. So I think that could be a really useful document for you.
That specific link is a 404. Yeah, I am using Hero. It's more just yeah, I saw that some of the API for the token metadata was deprecated. So I've realized that I probably want to run the blockchain API locally, but I don't know. This is all brand new to me. I'm an EVM developer, so
No,
this is
great,
literally
great,
all
great.
like I'm just, I'm just trying to see. I'm gonna be asking a lot of questions. I'll probably be annoying, but yeah,
It's all good. It's all good. If I would say if it's like API related, you can
yes.
jump into API. There's a Hero API channel. And
Oh, I've
if
been
you're
spamming it.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Just keep spamming.
Yeah,
And there's
that's what I thought. I figured everyone's pretty busy, so I'm just gonna keep spamming. I get help as I can. I'm not exactly that Marvin. That's exactly what I was thinking. Like I hope no one's like annoyed. I know how it works. I'm just gonna keep,
it's okay,
spamming as nicely as I can.
Yes.
But yeah, I just I want to build stuff. So
yeah. If you're spinning up your nodes and
I guess my
syncing-
main question, if anyone has like the definitive answer. Okay, so Ross said he'd help me out, but the specific question is, there is a picture that I found. Let me see if I can link this screenshot really quick. It's essentially a picture of the token metadata API and the local Postgres DB. You know what? Maybe I'll just talk to Ross. That's probably a better call. I don't want to bore everyone here.
And
so
I just wanna sort of highlight another channel that might be good for you is the mining channel, because in that mining channel is where people talk about the nodes, and maybe sometimes they talk about syncing up the API or getting the API up as well. So
okay,
that
the
could be
mining channel.
that could be a good one. That's where the nodes runners sort of tend to be. and sometimes they might run API as well. I know Mutu is a great person to talk about that too.
Amazing.
If you want to ping Mutu, he's just a community member, but he's very aware of the node side and the API side of things, how to
Okay.
get them up running.
Amazing points of context here. I appreciate it.
No problem. Welcome.
I figured I'd hop in and just listen, and I was hoping that there'd be like an open floor kind of thing. So this is really helpful.
Yeah. That's the whole purpose of these calls. We would like to hear from people and more participation. So yeah, you're definitely jumping the right space. There will be occasional sort of monthly developer call from Hero System. They are an entity in Stacks ecosystem, and they sometimes run a monthly developer call specifically tailored to you guys, basically. So if you got any question, you can follow them too.
Yep. Just letting, if Ross and Mutu are both on this call, I'm happy snack in the Discord. You can see me on the API channel. I'm gonna add Rosar right now. Just so he knows I'm not just a random person.
Awesome.
That's it. That's all I got. If anyone else wants to ask a question.
What do you wanna? I'm just curious. How did you know Stacks? How did you get into Stacks? And what made you
Sure.
come here?
It probably started with ordinals, and like I'm a hobbyist EVM developer. I've shipped a couple of NFTs, nothing too groundbreaking, but I'm just super interested in blockchain technology. It's really fun. So I have a group of friends that are also interested in blockchain, and one of them started talking about ordinals, and I got into ordinals a bit. I didn't build anything, but I found the layout of the documentation and just what they were trying to do was super interesting. And then naturally, one of my friends that degened into a few ordinal NFTs, he was like, "Have you heard of Stacks?" And I said, "No, I don't know what that is." So over the past week, I've been intimating myself with the documentation, as well as just like what Stacks is, and proof of a transfer, which is I guess POX. And there's an opportunity to potentially build some type of tooling. I don't want to get into specifics, but tooling around coins on the Stacks network, because I feel like there's not amazing dApps or tooling for coins for Stacks. So I just want to get this token metadata API running locally, or if there's like an endpoint that someone's hosting that I can use, but I don't know if that's how it works. Just so I can start potentially building a front end around some data from the token metadata API. That's really it.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you so much for sharing your story, and we are very happy to have you. Yeah, keep digging, and you can feel free to tag me as well. I'm not a developer, but I kind of get involved and get nosy with different kind of areas. So I might be able to point you to the right direction. So
Amazing.
just pin me. And also there's a SIP19. I don't know if you are familiar with the GitHub repo on Stacks network, but there's a SIP19. I'll just reference that for you. So you have, that's a metadata related.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. Just give me a second.
With clarity questions. All right, sweet. I don't know if I'm going to get into clarity immediately. I definitely will have to at some point, but
yeah, if you are writing a contract, you're gonna need to know clarity.
Of course.
But yeah, Marvin's got a clarity book that he published. It's a free online open source book. So.
All right, just Rosar, if you're on this call, I just added you on Discord. And
let me give you the link to all the current standards we have. And one is actually SIP19 is notification for token metadata updates. That's not being ratified yet because we need more adopters by marketplaces, but that might be a little bit relevant to what you was talking about. But feel free to take a look.
That actually for the notifications for token metadata. Yeah.
Oh, And SIP 16 is metadata for tokens. That's being ratified, SIP 16, if you scroll down. So yeah, extra point.
Yeah, I just I don't know, NFTs are fun. I know that the utility is still, you know, you could argue to be determined, but it's just, you know, building anything decentralized, any blockchain technology is super exciting to me. I feel like we all feel that way. I'm sure there's a bunch of developers here that have worked on the EVM as well and probably still do. So yeah, just looking to get involved.
Awesome. Yeah, there is even like sort of Albert is a person who sort of runs this startup lab, basically like looking to be founders. So it's basically like go through sort of the entrepreneurial process, train them up, get them a bit more focused on their vision. So if you need someone to help you shape your vision, what you want to launch, like that's a great sort of place, maybe a little bit down the line when you got, or even when you have a little bit open questions, he can also help you shape it too through this almost like accelerator sort of Y combination stuff.
Great.
But yeah, just ping me and I'll share these people's Twitter or whatnot. Awesome. Anybody else got anything they want to add or share with the on the SIP call? Cool. Maybe can I ask a Crossfire because he's been really leading part of the sort of the core group for the SIP editors. A Crossfire, like, could you share a little bit about what we're doing in the SIP editors committee? If you're able to talk. If you're not, it's fine.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, so some of the stuff that we're doing in the SIP editor process is, you know, a matter of refining the process of what a SIP editor should be doing in terms of how we look at SIPs, how we take maybe entry point ideas and refine them into the proper format. And then also kind of right now determining how heavy-handed we should be about kind of dictating the direction of those ideas. Something that we were talking about a lot in the last meeting was, you know, the fact that we should remain, you know, as neutral as possible and try to make sure that we represent the ideas that are brought forward by the community in their best light. Just make sure they're kind of abiding by the standards. We have the areas of impact, who's going to be affected by those changes, really well outlined and scored according to the RICE method, as well as maybe documenting some of the risks and community members that might have a particular interest in that particular SIP. And then really kind of stubbing out the process of having SIP editors steward that to the next step and transition to, you know, those would be looking at it from particular cabs. So we were kind of looking at the process of maybe assigning some ownership to particular SIP editors to kind of guide it through that process and make sure it's properly edited. But yeah, in general, it's a lot of just looking at the broader community ideas that are coming from them, refining those ideas, you know, figuring out good ways to make sure the community stays involved in providing those ideas, and then moving it along that process.
Yep, thank you so much. Perfect summary.
Yep.
So that's our goal, and we are sort of learning on the way. We're shaping it as we go. So if you're interested, please just let me know. I'll drop a link in the chat about the workshop that Raphael kindly hosted for us, giving a very detailed overview of the process itself, how we go about submitting a SIP idea, how the SIP editors go about reviewing any idea on the GitHub. So please check that out. And if you're interested to become a SIP editor, let me know. So yeah, I think that's the key stuff. Just to close out, next week we actually have a really important sort of SIP call coming up. It's all about stacks mining and stacking. And Matty Tokenomics, he was Stacks resident too. He led up the mining, the tokenomics and the mining side of things for Stacks ecosystem. And he produces a report every quarter. So he is still gonna keep producing the report, and he has kindly agreed to come on and share the Q1 finding about Stacks stacking and Stacks mining. So this is going to be a great call for everyone. Plus the recent Bitcoin NDB development. So I think will be a great opportunity for people to ask questions, for the community to ask questions, and the developers or the co-engineers. So please feel free to join the call. I will be posting that about this today. It'll be next Friday, again, same time, 12 p.m. ET. So that's it. Thank you everybody for coming, and appreciate your time here.
Thanks, everyone.
See you next week.
See you next week. Thanks, Hero.
Thank you, Gina.
Thanks. That's helpful. Bye bye.